Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from DeltiasGaming.com, and in this video we're doing part 3 tank docs, and that's gameplay. So we're going to give you a couple different perspectives, Woeler tanking trial specific situations, and myself doing dungeons, and explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, so you can use this on your own tank build. So let's get started. First clip up we have is from Hard Mode, Ethereum Archive, and the final boss, the Mage, and what I think is one of the harder things to do, and that is take control of 3 axes on your own and be independent resource-wise. So if you ever tank this fight, it's really stamina intensive, and the reason it is because you're constantly taunting these 3 axes, and you can use magic as well. So what Woeler's doing is grabbing both of these axes, and then a third one will appear soon. Now, if you look at the bottom center of his buff meter, you really want to be conscious of a couple different things. 1, potions. Once your stamina starts dipping, you can reliably use that along with ultimates to quickly generate up a big amount of stamina. So once he has this, another thing that he's doing, he's not over taunting. So remember that buff, you can apply it early, but why? You want to save your stamina and apply those buffs in a row when you have to, not any earlier, or you're going to screw up your stamina. So you can see that reduced block cost that he's been using has been really effective to continue to keep his stamina up. He's not even using tripods, and he's already at full stamina again. Also, he doesn't have a whole lot of need for healing, and he's not panicking once he gets down below. Another thing that he's doing is using his magic for hardened armor, and he's not freaking out when a big, huge thing lands on him right there. So he's just staying consistent, doing his job as a tank. Now, he moved in there. Why did he do that? That's a very smart play. He did that for Warhorn, aggressive Warhorn, because if he hits the Warhorn clear out on his own, it's not going to affect anyone. So he's cognizant of his range to his healer. You can see on the right, he's cognizant of when he needs to come in to do Warhorn, and he's just doing his job. And he doesn't have any spears, so he's self-sustaining. Another thing that he's doing is using igneous shields a lot. You see that? Number 1, generating ultimate. Number 2, using his magic pool to essentially gain stamina back. So then he uses a potion right there. And you can see this is excellent resource management. So that's why his build is really effective with reduced block cost. These axes beating on him all day, he's not running low on stamina. He's not spending a whole lot of magic or any stamina to heal himself, and he's doing his job. Tanking the axes, coming in to blow Warhorn when he needs to do it, maintaining his armor buff, not panicking, and reliably using taunts when he needs to. That's resource management. So this clip is from my build, the T3 tank, and I'm using it against Veladrath, one of the harder dungeon bosses that you can face. And so we've come back, and we need to push the boss's health to go back down below. And so what happens here is you want to use your ultimate right away, or they pull you in here. Now, a lot of tanks will not taunt other stuff. What I like to do is taunt everything. So I taunt the boss, refocus there, I drop my block. That was a mistake. You see that I have a tether here. This is all about not panicking and self-healing yourself. So you can see all these little mobs are blowing the crap out of our teammates. Taunt them. Remember, your primary job is to taunt and stay alive, but if other things are nuking your DPS, you're not going to be able to survive this fight. So you can see there, I got it, and then we made a mistake. What is it? We didn't get the second light. So when things are going chaotic, you're going to have to just adjust and figure it out. We don't have a second light. Okay, so we know this is going to be difficult, right? So I'm going to light a brazier here. And what that does is going to basically kind of cleanse us, and we can move a little bit fast. It starts to slow us down. The ads start to come as the further we progress through this. So we're going to need to do a couple things. I'm going to need stamina and support. He's going to need me to tank and taunt these guys. So what I'm doing is just jumping ahead as fast as I can and use a potion so I can do 2 more dodge rolls, and then bang. Now I can taunt and take those guys off him with chains, pull him here, talons him so he can get caught up. I'm using igneous shields and vigors so he doesn't have to spend the time healing himself and can focus on movement speed. I also popped a magma shell. Reason I did that, to get my stamina back up. So as soon as I do that, I make sure both of those mobs are tanked. I got plenty of stamina to go speed up ahead. Also, this is where talons is useful. You can see all those guys. Boom, I'm locking them in place so he doesn't have to screw with them. Now we get through here. Do a little igneous shields and a little vigor so I don't have to worry about healing. And you see I'm spamming igneous shields. The reason I'm doing that, I want ultimate, and I want stand back. Now, inevitably, he got killed. That's okay. So I'm going to use a potion here, drop down, and the boss is just about dead. I know I don't have a healer, so I'm going to have to deal with this. Taunt the boss, bring him over here, and I'm taking him away from the healer. Why? So he can get reses. Got a bash here. You can also use deep breath if you're out of stamina. I'm going to take the ad away from him as well, because that guy can interrupt, that guy can nuke one of your opponents down. So you can see I'm low on juice, so I'm going to use Igneous Shields, fully charge heavy. I'm going to get a spear, ultimate's low. We're going to be able to do this, but just remember, when things go bad, don't panic. Rely on your mobilizations, your off healing, your resources to get it done. Next clip up is from Woeler's perspective on good old Rakaat, the final boss in Vet Mob Lorcage. I have a separate written guide on my website for that if you're interested in the mechanics. So essentially what he's going to do is move the boss and or the Hulk, which is a secondary boss, from pad to pad to pad. And so he's the primary tank, and you can see number one is positioning. All the DPS and the healers are behind him. He's also using Absorb Magic right here and using all of his stamina to get self-heal. And you can see his health's not even dipping a little bit. He's also taunting and then using Heroic Slash before a mechanic happens. So that way when the boss is clear off of him, he can still have taunt on it and doesn't just nuke someone instantly. Now look at the tight positioning that they have here. So basically the Hulk and the main boss are getting cleaved, AoE damage. So you're doing two things at once. You're killing both the main boss and you're doing damage to the Hulk at once. Essentially it goes a lot faster. So once that's done, he's going to take the Hulk and Rakaat, move it back over, and you can see he's just doing his job. He gets a guard on him, taking a lot of damage, he repositions, he's bashing appropriately, and a Heroic Slash is always up. Remember that Heroic Slash damage, that minor maim can apply to other effects that the boss is doing. It's so important to do. That's what he's saving his stamina for. He gets CC'd, no big deal, breaks it, and you can see he's had a Warhorn for a while, but he's not using it. Why? Because they're coordinating. You can see his buff's just about run out. They're using it there. So this is a very high level perspective on how to tank. Really coordinated group using their Warhorn simultaneously. He's just doing his job and everyone else is moving around what he's doing. So you can see Igneous Shields and Vigors. That provides a lot of off heal to the entire group. So this is a good perspective on how to high level tank. Managing your resources, there's tons of crap going on, but he's focused on his job. That's maintaining taunt, maintaining his armor buff, and Heroic Slash. Doing off heal when he has some extra resources or when the group needs it, moving appropriately and positioning the Hulk and Rakaat right by each other so it's just easier to clear this thing. The final clip from my perspective is just another boss here in Cradle of Shadows, and I want you to get you an idea of perspective on tanking and positioning. So you see here I taunt him, get it to run all the way till it's in the happy little safe circle. So the thing that I do a lot of times that not a lot of other tanks do is I try to provide utility, but also I'm trying to taunt and take in the mobs like the ads here. So you have to honestly think to yourself, what's the fastest way that we can clear this? Sometimes these ads will obviously kill other players, but every kill on an Undead and Daedra provides ultimate. So if the DPS is killing these extra ads, they're getting ultimate faster. Essentially, they're doing damage faster. So before a mechanic goes off, you want to make sure you re-taunt and position. You can see that one DPS is back behind the boss. What do? I don't ask the DPS to change. I change. Then I bash him really quick so they don't get one shot, Heroic Slash, taunt. I'm providing off heals with Igneous Shields and Vigors. And then as I'm going through, I'm still trying to taunt things. So it's really important before mechanics happen that you reacquire that taunt. I also grab a tab target so I know that I have a taunt, reply, Heroic Slash, get that debuff, and then I'm positioning. So they're not really moving the way I want them to. That's okay. Yank, chains, and bang these little mobs in. This is what I'm really good at from Dragonstar Arena days, is using chains and taunting. So this is just a perspective on how to basically maintain your resources, movement, off heal, and chains. I'm telling you, all those little dinky ads, they make fights go a lot faster if you chains them in. Well, gang, that is the conclusion of Tank Talks. I would like to thank Woeler for coming out and giving out his information. And remember, if you're looking for high-end Ultra PvE builds that are, taking on the top things in the game, check out his information. It's legit. We all know that. So another thing is I'll have build out as well, which will be focused more on dungeon and sort of the average new player looking in a tank. And I hope you understand the tanking role a little bit better. It's not hold block and just, hold block and you're taunting one thing and you're just sitting there. It's all about group utility. And if you can provide a lot of group utility and add something to your group and make their lives easier by taunting, by doing that, but also increasing their damage. If you want to do damage, go play a DPS. If you want to tank, really focus on utility and promoting group play. And that's what Elder Scrolls Online tanking is about. So hopefully you understand that. Let us know what we can do to improve this type of series. And if you want some more collabs, let me know as well, because this was great. And I think we got a lot of good information out to you. Look for my tanking build out, maybe today, and we'll see you next time.